it's me Hatsy and I'm back with another speed build, and this time we're going to be doing something slightly different because this is going to be a holiday home for your Sims. I haven't done one of these before, I don't think anyway, but the idea would be that this would be a Sim family's second home potentially, or this could just be like the place that they come on the regular. I really don't know, but we can't have second house in The Sims 4, which I would love. I'd love the option to have like a second house, similar to how we have second restaurants and second shops and things like that. I think we have second shops, I really don't know. And yeah, I think that would be amazing. But I'm actually building this with the mod that I recently did a review of. So if you haven't seen the review, it's on the video before this one, and I believe it's called Tropical Retreat, Tropical Getaway. It's the second version, the updated version of Life's a Beach, and I did my first review ever of it. I was pretty happy with how it went, and I got a lot of support off the video, so thank you if you commented something positive on there, because honestly it was nerve-wracking to put my first review out there because I don't know how good I am at reviewing stuff, but I do know that I enjoy speed builds, and speed builds is something that I love and the main thing that I share on the channel anyway. But yeah, so I had a lot of fun making this house, and I was very inspired by lots of different places that I went on holiday to when I was younger. When I was about 14, I might have been older than that actually, I might have been like 16. I have a terrible idea of ages and I really forget how old I was when I went to specific places. I genuinely don't know. But I went to South Africa a while ago and I stayed at this safari place. It was about 40 minutes from Cape Town, and my dad had a real hard time finding somewhere that was very friendly and safe for the animals, because that was the main priority. We wanted somewhere that would treat the animals incredibly kindly and the best possible place for them. And we ended up finding this place that was a real blessing. It was so nice. And you had the option of having a tent or you could have a house, and the animals pretty much roamed freely. I think there was like a fence going around the whole of the resort, but it was just so much room for the animals, and it was just amazing to see, because compared to the places that I've been before, like safari parks in England and other countries, it was just very nice to see them in an open environment. But the only animals that were slightly closed off and they had a little fence around them were the lions. And there were about 3 lions that were quite young. They're about, I think, a couple of years old, which is quite young for a lion, I think. But they were pretty much next to the place that we were sleeping. And it was so loud, but it was so nice to hear them at night. But I just wasn't expecting that they would be that loud. But every single night you just hear this roaring, and it was lovely. But I could not sleep whatsoever. It was so scary. But it was a great experience and we really enjoyed it. There was a very near-death experience during the end of the trip though, and I don't know if I've mentioned this on any of my other videos. I seriously doubt it, because honestly it was one of the most frightening things that's ever happened in my life ever. But what happened on the last day was it was pretty empty in the resort because it was winter season and my mum refused to go to Africa in the summer because it would just be too hot. So everyone else was gone by this point. We were the only ones staying there, so it was pretty quiet. And the tour guide actually decided that because there was a small group of us, it would be a really good, fun, exciting idea to take us into the lion enclosure. So this lion enclosure was different to the last one because they had the older lions in there instead of the younger ones. Now I believe that the younger ones are safer, but I have no idea because I feel like they were more trained. They were trained around the tour guide, and the tour guide seemed to have a really good bond with them, so I don't know. But the older lions were about 7 to 8 years old. They were left to do their own thing, left to be in the wild pretty much. They didn't want to have much interaction with the lions because they wanted them to stay as wild as possible and in their own natural habitat. So I don't know why this was a good idea, but the tour guide decided to take us in one day, and we went in. We were very hesitant because we were thinking, okay, well, there's no one around us to help us out of this bad situation if anything goes wrong, and we just genuinely had no idea what was going on. But we were in an open top Jeep and we went straight into this lion enclosure, and the door shut behind us. There was no way we were going to get out. And all of a sudden, as soon as we were in the middle, the Jeep broke down. I'm not even joking. So we were in the middle of this lion enclosure. The lions started to, circle round us. There was this one lioness, I suppose, because she was very problematic. Like, the others just went about their everyday business. They didn't really care. They were more set on what they were doing in their own lives, sort of thing. I don't even know how I can describe that, but they were just really happy in their own company. And there was one lion that was circling the truck, and she was specifically eyeing up my dad. She did not take her eyes off my dad, and it was so frightening, but it was hysterical at the same time because my dad went into full English mode. He does it when he's scared, and he just goes into this like really, really old English accent, and it was a great moment to talk about afterwards. Luckily, the truck started back up again. We weren't in there very long, I think maybe for about 15 seconds, until the tour guide decided that it was a terrible idea and he should never do that again. So yeah, that happened. And not only that though, we actually caught up with the tour guide afterwards, and he actually said that the reason why he thought that the lion was circling the truck is because it was around food time, and he didn't discuss with the food team before he took us in there that the food team was supposed to be feeding them around that time. So to make matters even worse, yes, I nearly got eaten by a lion. I'm not even joking. I do believe that if I stayed in there and if the truck broke down, then yeah, it may have happened and it may have been a terrible situation for him. But yeah, there you go. Anyway, back to the build. Now, I do apologise because I've skipped a lot of this, but I do enjoy speaking about my own stories, like whilst I build, because I do like to share the inspiration ideas of where I think of things to put in the houses and stuff. But yeah, I do want to talk about the build as well. So we are onto the garden area, and this was a really unusual bit because I decided to do something special with the hot tub. I actually tested it, so it will work. Hopefully, it worked on my game, but I don't know if it will work on everyone else's. Strangely, that starts to happen recently. I've started to get like messages saying, why does it work on yours and not on mine? I don't know. I genuinely don't know. I think that sometimes it may be the game or your game, your computer. It just depends on things. It also depends on what cheats you put on. I would definitely recommend that for this build, you would use the BB Move Objects cheats, even if you just put it on before you download my creation or something, just because I want everything to work perfectly and I don't want anything to not be playable, so hopefully that won't happen. But the garden is supposed to just be a very outdoor area, and I would love to imagine that the Sims would be like in and out the beach area, but I don't even know if we can do that. Like, I don't know if maybe that'll be a thing in the future. I would love a proper beach resort where they could make sand castles and stuff. I have no idea. I would imagine that if we got seasons, then maybe that would happen. But it's actually really difficult to predict what the Sims are going to come up with next because there have been so many hints for different things. I'm starting to think that the next expansion pack is just going to be a random jumble of stuff because I've seen hints for toddler things. Like, I suppose that would be a hint to a Generations expansion pack. I've seen hints to season stuff, so I have no idea. I really don't know, and maybe I will know in the future. If I ever get to know, then you will of course be the first to know what I know, if that makes sense. Anyway, I was pretty much finished with the back garden, and I was happy with it. A lot of these palm trees will unfortunately be taken out, and that was because I didn't want it to count as custom content. There is a little bit of a glitch with the mod at this precise moment, which basically means that as you use it, the trees count as custom content. So a lot of the palm trees I had to take out, but if you do download the mod, then you could just put them back in and you could do that. I think a lot of this build was really showing you what you could add back, what you could do with the mod, so that if you have downloaded it, then hopefully you'll be able to use some of the ideas that I'm doing right here. And then we were on to the interior. So what I decided to do was I decided to do the inside, just decorating the floor and also the walls just by myself because it can take me a really long time to do. And I was so distracted at this point as well. So I thought it would be much easier just to edit that part out and just make the video shorter because I think it would have been about 30 minutes long, which is insane for a speed build. I feel like anyway, maybe like a mansion it's not so bad, but for a small build on a 30 by 20, I think it's on a 30 by 20, then yeah, that's a pretty long time to spend on it. But what I was doing at this point is I was going around, I was adding some plants because I still wanted to keep the tropical feel inside and I wanted it to blend in with the outside of the house. Now, I do know that this house may be more cluttered than a lot of people would like it to be, but you can remove some of the items, and the intentions were that maybe not everybody would have all these items. Like, if you don't have the Sims 4 get together and you still really want this build, then you of course be able to, but it will mean that you will have a lot less of the items here. So you could just add your own, you could replace them, but I really wanted this house to be just filled with stuff and to make it look like a real family house. I also think that by having orange wallpaper on the walls, like the woody orange colour, It made it look so much more tropical, and I loved that idea because it really reminded me of the outside of the build. But a lot of it was just adding colours to it and just trying to brighten it up inside without changing too much of the wallpaper, because I really like the idea of everything being in wood, or at least most things. So when it came to the kitchen was changed round slightly by the end, but you'll see what I mean about open plans. So I don't know if open plans to everyone's taste. It's definitely to mine. I quite like it, especially in houses like this. I think that for modern houses, I prefer a closed-off kitchen, but this would just be perfect for me. Like, I'm not saying that I would live in this house, because I don't think that I would necessarily, but I still like the idea of it, and I think that having it being open plan is a really nice idea, just to get all the Sims to sit around here, and you could take some really amazing screenshots, which could be really nice, and I had a lot of fun making it. I'm also going to be starting back with daily videos really soon, because I've been doing daily videos for a long time, or at least videos every other day. That's how often I like to put my videos out there. But recently it's been a little bit strange, because I've had a lot going on, because it was my birthday on August the 9th, so I definitely wanted to celebrate that for a few days. Before that I was ill. And after my birthday, it's the 11th now when I'm actually recording this video and when I'm probably putting the video out there. But there have been some quite big complications, and that is to do with the people that I do live with. So not actually live in the house with, but live around, so neighbours and stuff. I am not shading my husband because he's fantastic to live with. And yeah, it's just been really unusual. So I've had a little bit of an argument about a milk carton and stuff like that, which has been getting on my nerves slightly. So every single time I've gone to record, there's been someone like banging at the window, going on about something that I have to do. And yeah, it's just sort of disrespectful, seeing as I am recording, but hopefully that will get sorted soon, and hopefully when I move back, then I will be able to start up with these daily videos again. And also I'm hoping to do that like from next week. It just really depends on them. It depends on the people that I'm living around and how decent they are feeling on a certain day of the week. Anyway, this was when I was just finishing off doing the kitchen. So the kitchen was actually really rustic by the time that I finished with it, but I loved the idea of making it really wooden and, I don't know, dark colours, I guess, like terracotta colours. I love that. So I think I did change the wallpaper in here slightly, or at least I can see I did. And I think it looks nice, because I think the kitchen was one of the few rooms that I did that on, and even changing slight things like little bits, maybe having like a feature wall somewhere, that looks really good in builds. And I'm definitely happy about using feature walls in my builds, because feature walls is just something that I've grown up with. Sounds strange, but I used to have a feature wall in my bedroom. That doesn't sound very strange at all, actually. But no, I remember that my mum once took me wallpaper shopping, and we went to this really odd place, and yeah, we just had like a real field day, just picking out all the feature walls that we were going to have for our house, and that was really nice. Strange thing was that we actually moved out of that house about 6 months later, so I have no idea why my mum was doing that house up. It was a really odd thing to do. Anyway, going back to the lounge. So the lounge was pretty much finished at this point. I used some of the outdoor retreat sofas. I am in love with them. I think they suited this house perfectly, and it went with all the colours that I had going here. So I also used some bits of orange just to make it pop out a bit. So you will notice that some really odd combinations, but I feel like from this view it looks really cluttered, but when you're actually taking screenshots of this area, and I think you'll see it more at the end, it does fit in really, really nicely. And I'll even try and get some Sims sat down on the sofa. I'll try and add them for the screenshots, but if I don't remember, don't hold me to it, because I'm terrible at remembering stuff. Anyway, I was on to the hallway, I think, anyway. So a lot of time and effort was invested into just the lounge and the kitchen. It feels like a majority of the speed build, maybe like half of the decoration of the interior just went on those 2 rooms, just because they were so big. And yeah, I think that they were important. They were the rooms that the family are supposed to play games in and sit down together and stuff. And I love that idea. Also, another thing about this build is the fact that I tried very carefully not to put electronics in this build, because I felt like hobbies and activities, skill building things, stuff like that would be more important, and it would bring the family close together. And it's something that I've noticed going away with my family in the past, that they really don't like when I use electronics. I definitely try and stay away from electronics when I do go on holiday. But anyway, this was when I was onto a children's bedroom. Now, there are a lot of children's bedrooms in this build. There's actually a total of 5 bedrooms by the end, so that's quite a lot of bedrooms, and all the bedrooms have like 2 beds in, or maybe like a double bed, so you could fit probably about 10 Sims, I'm guessing, more or less, depending on if I put like a single bed in a room or like maybe 3 beds, I don't know. But you could probably have about 10 Sims sleeping in this home, and you could also have the maximum number of Sims living here, so you could actually invite 8 Sims to come and stay here. And yeah, that would mean as well that they could use the sofas and stuff. I guess you could probably have more. It just depends on how spaced out you want it, but you could definitely have like a lot of Sims using this build, and it would be absolutely packed. If you do, and if you take screenshots, then share them with me on Twitter, because I would absolutely love to see them by the end, and that always fascinates me. But anyway, this room in here was the spa room. So the idea of this room is that it's supposed to be relaxing, because I don't believe, or I don't think anyway, that if this house was in Granite Falls, the normal version of Outdoor Retreat, I wouldn't have put this room in, because I just don't feel like it would have had a place. I feel like the campsite resort with the muddy grounds and the large trees would maybe be, I don't know, it just depends. Like, I would imagine it to be just very outdoors, like bonfires and stuff like that, just a dirty environment, because every single time I've gone camping, it just hasn't been pleasant. I went camping one time and half the tent wasn't pinned down, so in the middle of the night, I just remember this really cold breeze came over me. And all of a sudden, my sleeping bag just like ran off with the wind. I don't know where it went. And I just noticed that I was outside. So I wasn't actually in the tent anymore. The tent was over my head and it was like swinging up and down with the wind. It was the most uncomfortable thing ever, and it was just an awful experience. But yeah, anyway, I definitely wanted a spa room, because I would imagine that there would be one here, because this is like a luxury place and I like that idea. So I thought I'd put one in. Of course, I don't know if you can hire people to come here, but maybe the family could, I don't know, give each other like back massages. I really don't know, but I thought I would put one in anyway, because it looks relaxing, and I thought it fitted in with the house a little bit, and I didn't want to put another bedroom in here just because of the sake of putting in bedrooms and stuff. So yeah, you could definitely convert this into something if you wanted it to be, but I really liked it the way it was, and I was definitely happy about the way that it turned out. So after I was finished off doing this room, I moved on to another bedroom. This is a bedroom that I would imagine to be for like an uncle or an aunt or maybe a grandparent, just depending on what family member you wanted to have this room, but it was very plain. So bear with me, because it's super plain. This room would probably be for like another parent, or I don't really know. Just rooms, like I would probably imagine the parents have that really large room actually, just because the single beds are here, so it makes sense for the children to be close to the parents, but it really just depends. Like this room here, the room with the 2 single beds, my sister and I would have that room, and my parents would probably have like the big room, and then I guess my uncle, if he was staying, then he would have the room on the left, because he often used to come on holiday with us. It's great because there'd be about 8 or 9 of us, and we would always play artistic games, because my uncle has a real talent for art. So yeah, all the games would be really art based, which suited me down to the ground, but everybody else hated them because I don't have many artistic people in my family, unfortunately. Anyway, I was finishing off this room, so it has a little seating area inside, which I just thought was very cute, and I love doing that with bigger bedrooms. I don't know why, I just think it's really nice just to be able to have the family in here. Like, I don't know, maybe the kids will come and visit their parents, and instead of watching television, they could sit down by the fire and stuff like that. I really like the family aspect of The Sims, so I'm definitely hoping for more family things like in expansion packs and stuff. Like maybe a little board game would be nice, because that is exactly the place that I would imagine the family to like do a jigsaw puzzle or something, and that would be so cute. But yeah, so I was just finishing off this room with decorations because I felt like the other room was pretty bland. So I definitely wanted some pictures or something just in this bedroom to give it a little bit more life, and some plants and things. So yeah, I think it has like purple and blue features just to brighten it up a bit. The bathroom ended up being really plain, but I liked the idea of having it like that because I don't like anything too fancy for bathrooms. And I really like the idea of using the wood because I love the wood things that we get with the outdoor retreat, and I thought they looked really pretty in here. So even though it is like a beachy house, I think that the colours for this room still fitted it perfectly, and I did include some flowers just to brighten it up a bit. I tried them in this bedroom, but I really didn't like it, so I think this is when I started to change this bedroom round a bit and make it more friendly to children. So yes, there is like a little doll's house or something similar to that in the end of doing that. Anyway, onto the upstairs. So the first room that I started to do would be like, I guess, another parent's bedroom or like a grandparent's bedroom. I don't know. Just some more big bedrooms up here. I don't feel like this room particularly finished off with anything too cluttered inside it, but I just wanted something really big, and we had a lot of space upstairs. Like, I probably put too much space on the upstairs floor. It really just depends what you want up here though, because if you don't like how I've decorated it, then you can just change it to something else. And yeah, I mean, it's a great room. You could use this room for so many things. Like if you wanted a hobby room or something like that, then you could definitely put it in here. I also put some family portraits in this room. Now, I don't know if there is a way that you could change the faces on there. I would love to personally. I'd love to have like a massive collage of different Sims and stuff. I know that you can create pictures of Sims, but to have like a collage would be amazing. So I hope they add that in at some point. And to finish off the upstairs, I was just adding some bookcases and some more things that the Sims may like to do whilst they are on this holiday. So there's like a piano, there's some other stuff, because if they do want to spend like a lot of time together, then this would just be perfect, because they could all gather up here and they could have like parties and stuff, I guess. It could be really interesting. So then I was on to the last room. I really can't remember what I did in here. I think this was a children's bedroom again. So I'm guessing like 4 children at least for this sort of house would be incredible. And yeah, it'd be really interesting to see them all. So loads of items up here, like a doll's house and a bear, and oh, I used a toy box as well. I love that toy box that we got with the kids stuff pack. That was one of my favorite things. I really like that. And I think it's great as well. Like, I've even tested it. The other thing I liked is the puppet theatre, but I just thought that would be a bit much to put one in. But that would actually be a really nice thing to put in this house. So if you do edit it yourself and you put it back on the gallery, then yeah, you could definitely include stuff like that. And then I just finished off with the last details of the build, and that is the end of it. So I really hope you enjoyed it, and I hope to see your future videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you all soon.